Okay, so to the rattle and hum of this computer as it boots back up, and also to the sounds of some construction going outside here in Seoul City, South Korea's capital, because it's a city that's constantly tearing down and building up, so it's really restless, I guess, in that way. I'm going to try to do a video. I'm going to call this kind of a little bit more Highlight Heyday style, although normally when Highlight Heyday video records, he is already set up for this. But I just want to try something like purely in spreadsheets. What you will see is not everything that I will see because I will have the team cards separate, but just to show how I might set up to play a game purely online if I'm just doing this in my own time. So this is the next game that I have in the schedule. This would be game 137 of 1008 of the regular season replay, and this is two teams that are now defunct. So, well, they're not technically defunct. They are Colorado and I guess this one is Utah Hockey Club somehow technically, even though that's strange. I don't want to get into it actually. But so as you can see here, I have no idea actually why some of these search results are popping up. Perhaps I should have cleared my search history before this, but it's yeah, I guess at some point I was curious about the 92 presidential election. I actually do not recall why it would have been. That's the one that Clinton won in the States, but of course I'm not American. Anyway, so for DoC, I have spreadsheets, and because I have multiple YouTube accounts, unsurprising, or YouTube Gmail accounts, unsurprising that I wasn't able to go to the Google Sheets right away. But here they are. Here's everything popping up. And so the Winnipeg Jets right now come into this a couple games below 500, 4-6-1 after 11 games in the regular season. And Quebec, conversely, is a couple points above 500. And so another thing that I might do here is pull up a penalty box, search. Normally what I'll do actually is wait until after for tabletop hockey games. And this was not a planned part of the video, but I'm just curious to see the master list of hockey games. And yes, PTG hockey is different than the PT games hockey, Hockey Bones, and a couple of different games here. Yeah, okay, so there's a little bit more talk. I guess just take a quick glance at that. I'm just curious. I get distracted, short attention span. So here is my thread for my 92-93 NHL regular season replay. And yeah, this could be wholeheartedly uninteresting to at least most, but it's just something I just kind of felt like doing something different. And so I believe I've entered the password correctly. It would appear that I have, and normally what I'll do is I'll highlight and copy paste. In fact, probably some errors, some typos that I make in some of these replays from time to time are just copy paste errors. So as I mentioned there, it's game 137, and it's going to be the Winnipeg Jets. And so I'll get this all set up, kind of try to do this here in real time as I would normally if I were not recording it. And Winnipeg, I think I said was 4-6-1, and Quebec is 6-4-0. I'll double check it, but pretty sure that's the case. The Nordiques are 6-4-0, and I'll switch this up as well. So, oops, have the caps lock on, just to show kind of how it's done. Not necessarily every time, but in this case it's been a lot of the time. So, and then I'll wait until goals are actually scored. So then two more things that I've got to pull up here: deck of cards, and you can see certain words there. Yes, I Googled the pronunciation of them because I online tutor, and so there's I call it Google Girl. It's just a voice that will show, that will give the pronunciation of words and show actually the intonation as well, like the stressed syllables in the words. And so students will say things like determined, which kind of makes sense when you think about it. Mine, you know, it's the silent E stretching the I long, but in a word like determined, it just doesn't work. But they're determined to say it that way. So anyway, and then random numbers, another one that I want here. So and as you can see here, I've looked at other playing cards, like playing card. It's when deck of cards doesn't work actually that I use this one. I've only used it for 1 or 2 games, and I, honest to goodness, have absolutely no idea why Rakuten is coming up in a search, but it's interesting. I feel like even Google is confused on what to recommend me. So I already have a random number here pulled, 66. I'll probably use this for the first goal scored. This I'm going to shuffle at least a few dozen times. I've gone 50, I've gone 100. Usually I'll vary the number of clicks and shuffles in between periods. ID Jester is really fun for this actually, when he's using dice rollers, and he just it's like an insane number of clicks before he drops the dice, and he'll do his own doing right now, and he'll talk before he rolls them. So that's what I'm doing here, just get this all ready for the first period of play. And the one thing that I have to do offline here is actually I have the cards and envelopes And so from the Smythe division, I will retrieve the Winnipeg Jets. And for the benefit of my own aging eyesight, I'm going to turn on this lamp here, which I believe will also not be picked up in OBS. And at this point, I'm not sure if any of it's being picked up, but it would appear that it is. To be honest, I wasn't entirely sure if I should click window or display for this. And how many minutes old is this video now? This is just over 5 minutes. So we're going to start this. And I'll probably I got a negative comment, I forget when it was, last week or something like that, about this long intro and nobody cares. And that could very well be the case, but this is how I do it. So I guess I could timestamp it, and away we go. My videos are still a lot shorter than, I want to say most or many. And again, I'm not saying that in any bad way, but I do try to keep them shorter than a lot of other YouTube streamers, sports game players, and stuff like that. And just a lot of videos of a lot of other genres as well. So Teppo Numanum here with the puck off the, we'll say the initial sequence, we'll say off the opening puck drop, but he is unable to set anyone up for a scoring chance. And then 3 in the Joker, so I'm just going to automatically take the puck away from the road team. We're now 5 minutes into the first period here. Nordiques against the Jets. So we have the Queen. The Queen is Joe Sakic for the Jets. Joe Sakic with a 4. Successfully passes it through, and the 2 in the ace. So I looked at the team player bench. Ace, I'll just take the player on the far left, and that in this case it's Gino Cavallini. And Cavallini with the Kings. So looking over who started in this game, Rick Tabaracci and Ron Hextall for the Nordiques. So Tabaracci will allow goals on Kings, Queens, and Jack of Hearts. So just like that, it is 1-0 for the Quebec Nordiques. Gino Cavallini here scoring from Joe Sakic, and let's see here, Sakic and the 7 of spades, Andrei Kovalenko. So I'll come over to the spreadsheet here before updating it and that's Cavallini's first of the season. So Cavallini here with his first goal sits by Joe Sakic. As you can see, off to a slow start there is Sakic, and Andrei Kovalenko also up to 8 points, so 6 and 5. So I just try to 1-6-5 and 66 seconds, and that was the third sequence. So 5 adding 66 seconds to it means that it's 6:06. In case you're just curious at all of how this comes together, I've done similar, just playing purely online for other replays, and so just an idea of how things are done. I know, again, myself, I get curious to see how other people are doing things. Obviously, it's nothing groundbreaking or earth-shattering or anything like that. It's just with a curious eye. If you're curious to check out any of it, I thought I would. I was going to wait actually till I might still do something for game 139, Toronto and Detroit, 2 more teams from the season replay that I've not featured yet on the channel, I don't think, but there it is. So it's 6:06. It's Cavallini getting the icebreaker for the Quebec Nordiques, and ace and 2. That is Phil Housley, and Phil Housley actually ace and 2 to 10. So Housley sets up Teemu Selanne, and yeah, the goal is basically a foregone conclusion. It is Selanne from Housley almost immediately tying it. Well, let's see actually how many more seconds later. So 1:08. So I'm going to subtract 42 from 7.5 minutes. Or sorry, no, this will be from 10 minutes. Subtract 42 from 10 minutes. So I'm going to say a 9:18 Selanne from Housley, but let's see if there's a secondary assist. With the diamond, it's Selanne again, so it will just be a 1 assist goal there, Selanne from Phil Housley. So 1-1, and Winnipeg, Teemu Selanne, and for Selanne, that is his, let's see here, that is his 10th goal of the campaign. So up to 10 goals and 17 points to Selanne. And Housley, I said, got the assist, so Housley up to 15 points. And so again, 10. And Housley, that was his 13th helper of the season. 9:18 is what I said was the time of the goal. It's 1-1. And halfway through the first period. So the 6 of spades, that is Evgeny Davidov. Davidov not able to set anyone up with a chance to score. And back the other way, the Nordiques come with it. Oh, and Nolan, who has a lot of goals, not a lot of assists, but here he successfully sends it to Mike Ricci in the slot. And Ricci unable to score with the 3. King, that is Steve Duchesne for the Quebec Nordiques. Duchesne with a 6. Duchesne, he finds Owen Nolan, and Nolan has lit the lamp a lot here. It's still relatively early in Nolan's career. This was a season or two before his big goals per game in the shortened 48-game season in 94-95. Anyway, Nolan scores. A better announcer would have said that up front. So it's Nolan from Martin Ruchinski and Steve Duchesne. So Nolan from Ruchinski and Duchesne. Let's go back to Quebec here. So Nolan, that's his 10th of the season. 10 goals with just 3 assists. Duchesne up to 10 assists now. And Ruchinski as well. Ruchinski with 13 points. is tied for the team lead with Nolan. So that is 10-10-8. And the time of the goal, this was the 7th sequence of 8 in the period. So I'm going to add this to 15 minutes and say that at 15:40, it is Quebec going back up 2-1. Quebec playing at home in this one. So that was Owen Nolan with his 10th. And Duchesne, and Raczynski also with his 10th. And so we're looking at 15:40. This 40 seconds was it? Yeah, so at 15:40. So one more sequence here in the first period, and that is Andrei Kovalenko with the puck. And the King will penetrate the Jets team defense. And late in the period here, Kovalenko finds Scott Pearson, but Pearson with a 2, and they run out of time here in the first period. So it's 1-0 after 1. Let's shuffle this a whole bunch. Do a time check here. We are up to 11 minutes in this video. Okay, let's get started here in the second period where it's Kovalenko with it once more. Kovalenko this time with the jack. That'll be broken up and taken away by the Jets team defense. And let's see here, 7-5. So that is Raczynski unable to find anyone in the slot. With the 10 and 8, that is Fredrik Olofsson for Winnipeg. 8 means he's successfully fed it through. Phil Housley looking for a goal to go with his assist, and a goal is what he gets here. So it's Housley from Olofsson, and the 6 of hearts is Housley again. So Housley's all over it in this game. Housley with a goal. I think that would be his 3rd. We'll find out here in a moment. I'll update the score first. 2-2 Winnipeg, and it was Phil Housley. This is also sometimes how I do it. I get it already, and then we add the number to parentheses. So Housley here, we have a 2-all game, and that is indeed his 3rd of the season, just a point behind Selanne now. And it was fellow blue liner Olofsson getting the assist on that one, his 6th of the campaign. So Housley with his 3rd, Olofsson with his 6th assist. And let's go with 5 minutes plus 12 seconds, so 5:12 here of the second period. And we got a 3 here of clubs with a 9, so that's Housley. Actually, Housley needs either an ace or a 10 when the play comes off a 3. But it is the Jets with it once more, but the joker means automatically that play is broken up. So Queen and 6, so Winnipeg here, 3 consecutive possessions. That is Thomas' team, but once again on the road, they are jokered out. I noticed last night actually playing a game with Buffalo, a very 500-ish team, and they don't have a win yet on the road this season. So even the subtleties like the jokers can really work against the home teams in a game of DoC hockey, where there wouldn't seem to be all that much home visitor disadvantage. 2 cards in a deck of 54. Anyway, 8 and 9. For Timo Numinum here. So he gets the puck to Olofsson, actually, who's looking for a goal to go with his assist. Does not get a good shot off there with a 3. And we have the final sequence here of period 2. These periods do go by more quickly when no goals are scored. And also if I'm just silent and talking less. But after 2 periods of play, just the lone goal in the second period was Phil Housley tying the score. So 2-2 after 2. And as a Magic Sport might do at this point, I should remind you verbally, at least I don't have the display set up for it, but you can find DoC Hockey online. Actually, why not do that? Let's go to penalty box here once more. We'll open up another penalty box tab here. Yes, I was looking at Muscatavit earlier. It's my home province. It's a town. So let's go to, deck of cards hockey. This is, I feel like this is the OG, the original thread, going back to 2014 at least in the penalty box, and even farther back I believe in Tabletop Sports. So you can see some of the messages here, but it's yes, this is and penalty box isn't frequented as much. This is just a pure hockey game playing forum. Usually I start from here and then update it on Tabletop Sports. So let's see, what am I looking at here? What am I doing? Okay, for the third period, we'll do a few more shuffles just for good measure. And so starting things off here in period 3, where we have a 2-all game. So it is Joe Sakic. Joe Sakic here off the face-off. Sakic, he maneuvers it to Scott Pearson. Pearson out there, maybe Winnipeg was roughing Sakic around earlier in the match, but Pearson unable to score. And with the 9 and the 9, this is Kovalenko, who's had his touches this game. 3 9s in a row. You heard the number of clicks and saw. Anyway, that is Kovalenko. Maneuvering it to Kovalenko here. Solo effort. Kovalenko is both the 9 for assist and goals in the Nordiques card. Watch this be the 4th 9. No, it's a 4. So Kovalenko, after all that, he needs a 5 to 10 to score. Phil Housley with the back the other way for the Winnipeg Jets. And the King, he feeds it through to the Jack. The Jack is Alexei Zhamnov. Zhamnov with another Jack. That's going to be a good save by Ron Hextall instead. So with a 7 here, it is Quebec maintaining possession, but Ruchinski needs 1 greater. He needs a 7 in order to feed it, to set up someone with a chance to score. And the 4 and the 7, this is Valery Kamensky for the Quebec Nordiques. Also unable to find anybody with a chance to score as things tighten up here in the final 40 minutes, it would appear. And the 2-3-3, so Winnipeg from the bench, Eddie Olchuk unable to get anything going. And second last sequence here, the 3rd period already, and the Jack and the 6 is Alexei Zhamnov. Zhamnov in tight, he finds... Let's see the centering pass to an 8. We're going to say to old John Druce. Druce with a 5, but they need an ace or a 6 to 10 to score here. Does Winnipeg. And that's Phil Housley, the final sequence here. 3. He only needs an ace or a 2 to 10. Housley, look at this solo effort. He's already got a goal and an assist. And the Red Queen will indeed defeat Ron Hextall. So we get a dramatic finish here at Le Colisée. It's, that is the final sequence of the 3rd period, and it is Phil Housley. Housley catches a pass from Zhamnov and just ends up putting it away himself. Let's see, that is 3-2. So Winnipeg here stealing one on the road in Quebec. It is Phil Housley with his 2nd of the night, up to 4 goals now in the campaign. And Zhamnov with the lone assist on that one. For Zhamnov, that is his 11th assist of the season. Housley now tied with Selanne for the team lead in points. It is early, though. And we'll get the exact time of the goal. That is 1:29. So with 21 seconds to go. It is Housley at 19:39. And I know some people now, you could house rule it. You could give Quebec a chance to come back. I'm not. Again, I have over 1,000 of these games to replay. And even though this game came up a little short in terms of goals scored, 5, where the average was 7.25 for the season in 92-93, it's close. It's like 7.1 something right now. But another thing I have to do here is replace to show the actual game, which I meant to get into. I was looking at this, truth be told, about 10 minutes or so before going on, but just before my wife went out. And so in the actual game, it was Sundin scoring twice. Yeah, his 8th and 9th of the season. Ricci, who had a touch earlier there. Sakic also got an assist in this one. It was Keith Tkachuk netting his 6th. Selanne with the assist, and then Olchuk, who did have a chance there late in the game here, but he wasn't able to find anyone. So I guess he should have tried to score himself. Anyway, so that was what happened in the actual game, and I'm glad that I did not have to go through 13 penalties. Was not so bad. Back in the day, this would have equated to, 26 minutes all minors, so 26 minutes in penalties here. And the final score was 3-2 Quebec, so Winnipeg is reverse history here. And then I'll update goalies for their stats. I do it very rough when it comes to goals against average. I'll show I just have a really simple formula, so I guess take the numbers with a grain of salt, but it's just kind of fun, I think. So updating it now, I'm just going to take a previous score where Winnipeg was on the road and update it to show 3-2, that they defeated Quebec by a score of 3-2. And then before I forget to, I'll copy and paste this into the Quebec. This is just so I can look at winning and losing streaks. For some other season or project replays, I've actually kept streaks in the standings. Like over here, I would have like a win-loss, but I'm not doing that for this one. There's just so many games to get through. So 3-2 here. And I guess because Winnipeg was on the road, I'll update. So it was Tabarachi actually picking up the win for Winnipeg. And this season for Tabarachi, that will be his 2nd win. So I have minutes there in parentheses, but Tabarachi's now played in 5 games. He would have played the whole game there, so we'll just give him 60 more minutes. I guess he played a part game in there somewhere. So up to 220 minutes now. And that will be 2 goals surrendered. So what I can do here is go 12 times 60 and divided by 220. And his goals against average 3.27. And I can check that against what he has already in that. Because he's only played a few games, the 50-point drop in goals against average is reasonable. And again, it's not 5 full games that he's played. That's not 300 minutes. So, yeah. So that's going to put Winnipeg within 1 game of 500. And the 6-4 Quebec will fall to 6-5. But before I update that, let's go to Hextall. And Hextall here, let's see, that's his 10th game of the season. And I guess he would have been in for all of it, or close enough anyway. I don't know, I guess he could have been pulled with 20 seconds to go. But we'll say, yeah, so 32. So didn't get enough run support there, did Hextall. So 32 times 60 divided by 594. 32 times 60 divided by 594 will give us Hextall's rough goals against average right now, 323. So he's at 303, jumps to 320. See that does not. Hold on now. So he's at 303. What did I do incorrectly? I'm just going to Control Z a bunch of stuff here. So 29. Now I'm curious. 29 multiplied by 60. Not without fault. Divided by 534. Maybe last time I computed but didn't update the actual average. So his average coming into this was 326. Oops. Anyway, because I update it after every game, I think it's going to be okay. There's always something embarrassing that's going to happen like that when I'm on camera. So anytime that I post stats online, what I'm trying to say is you should just entirely not rely on them at all. But it was 323 that came up for the adjusted average, and 5-5-0. Fusain is one start this season picking up the win, and I just assume they're close enough to 60. I think what I do here, I multiply it by like 59.25 and assume that he might have left the net for, I don't know, a few seconds in the game. It's never an even 60. So it'll all work out in the end, though. It will. Someone like Dave Gardner might say it will all come out in the wash. So Tabarachi, I've been posting record and goals against average. So whoops, stuff the caps lock on. So Tabarachi is spelled with how many B's and R's? So 1 B and 1 R actually. So I got that straight off Hockey Reference, copied and pasted. So it's probably correct. Tabarachi, 1 B, 1 R, and then 2 C's. Was that the 2? He has 2 of some consonant. Yeah, 2 C's. And so he surrendered 2 goals. But so 2 GA, I do something like that and then win. And 2-1-0 for the season with a goals against average of 3.27, I think it was, for Tabarachi. Yep. And then Hextall with the defeat. Only 3 goals allowed, so that would more often than not probably get a win in 92-93, and he's at an even 5-5 right now. So if you've ever looked at this and if you've wondered like why the goals against average are not the same as the team record, that explains it. It's the goalie's record, not the team's record. So that is ready to post, I believe, right? 3-2. I mean, I could annotate this some more, but why would I do that when I've made a video of it already? And I'm just double checking some things here, make sure that some details look right. I do have to come back and update these on occasion, and there probably are a few mistakes through them, but again, I've got a big season project here to get through, so we'll post this right now. And I guess I could post it with a video, though actually normally that's what I do, is I post only the video link. So oops. But for a little while, to encourage, sorry, but yes, to encourage people to maybe check it out on video first, but I guess I'll provide both here. So it's a different kind of video, I guess. Probably some people that watch this don't go on Delphi, and on occasion that's understood, or just in general that it'd be understood. So it's Winnipeg here up to 11 points, and I've idiot proofed this by the sum totals here at the bottom. So Quebec, I will update. That's 11 games for them. They fall into 6-5. They're up to 40 goals scored on the season. Should be. I will double check that and watch this be wrong. And these numbers here should all add up and even out. So let's go back to Quebec actually and see if they indeed have 40 goals scored. They do. So it's probably correct. I'm not guaranteeing anything 100. And for the Jets, 44. Going back to the standings to see where they were, and they are at 44 goals scored as well. So, and this won't always reflect the goals against, because sometimes teams allow empty net goals, of which there were none in this game. So that is my season replay, and a slice of it, I guess. And looking at the standings right now, I think no team has more than 18 points. Calgary with 18 points in 12 games played, and New York Islanders with 18 points also in 12 games played. I guess the Islanders with 9 clear wins would technically be the top team in the NHL right now. It's the Islanders in the East, or sorry, the Wales Conference, and the Flames in the Campbell Conference. So anyway, anytime, as always, anytime, any consideration that you give to anything like this, goodness, it's a 24-minute long video, and so more than that. And so I know that, again, talking just slows things down, because I, honest to goodness, when I don't have it set up like this, I would get through a game like this in probably 15 minutes, And you can even see sometimes if I play a couple games back to back, if you look at the time in between the Delphi posts, you'll see like 13, 14, 15, 16 minutes, something like that. Sometimes maybe a little bit more if I get up and move around in between playing games. But yeah, this was game 137 on the campaign. And so again, I think I interrupted myself there, but I'll repeat, anytime, any consideration that you give to anything like this, while it's never expected, it is always greatly appreciated. It's fun to interact and see the comments and yeah, just contribute in my own small, humble way here to the community. So thanks again, and bye for now.